boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.
Welcome, everybody. Podcast number 31, Bolts and Hose.
31.
Not bad. You're getting better. Right. You're getting better. You've been practicing.
How was that enunciation?
31.
I actually didn't even practice that one time. It was completely impromptu, off the cuff.
It's still, it's a little forced. You like put your chin forward.
You know,
30.
I wanted to enunciate and get that out there. You know, people, native Spanish speakers.
You know, it's funny.
That's what they do.
I'm going to throw my mom under the bus here a little bit. It just this. Oh, my bad. That brought me back to this. So, you know, I'm from Illinois. My mom comes down.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Originally, imagine that. My mom.
What part of Illinois? Bryce?
Yeah, shut your mouth. My mom comes down here, and you know, she's meeting my wife and my wife's family, and you know, I think it was my wife's sister-in-law she was talking to. It was like, "Oh, so do you speak Mexican too?" Ooh.
That's terrible.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. So, well, it's Spanish, not Mexican.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess it would be the equivalent of somebody saying, "Oh, you speak American."
Yeah, but you don't speak American.
Right.
It's English. And it's just one of those things that, you know, it was a little embarrassing for my poor mother.
To justify. There's no justification.
My poor mother. I love you, Mom.
Sorry, Mrs. Oliveira.
So we're Friday. It's a little rainy, chilly day in Humble, Texas.
It's getting closer to winter, isn't it? In Texas?
Yeah, a little fall action.
Yeah,
you know.
It's nice though. We're actually wearing a little long sleeve action here.
You get to pull out some of your warm clothes.
It's football season.
It is football season.
Yeah.
We had a bet last week. I don't know if anyone remembers that one. So Kris and I bet on the Cowboys-Eagles game.
Yeah.
And Kris, being the Cowboys fan he is, lost his bet. And the game. It
was a very close game. There were a couple of plays, Dak's foot on the sideline there, or I forget the receiver that just his knee hit just the wrong spot. That would have completely flipped the game. I would have won had it not been for that, but those two things just kicked us out.
It's a true Cowboys fan right there. I would have won if Tony Romo caught the ball.
A game of inches is what they say, and it's very true in this game here.
Yep, but ultimately you lost, and you lost your bet.
So what was the bet?
So the bet was you have to chug the strongest beer here at Ingenious, and the strongest beer they have on tap today, he kind of lucked out. It is a C1000, 10.5%.
And since Bryce didn't specify half pour or full pour, we did go with the half pour here. So.
But a true man would have taken a real beer, a full beer, and chugged it.
So do you want to say what this is?
It's a C1000.
C1000. What does that mean?
10.5%. I don't know. I don't know exactly the specifics here, but well done. It was like a shot glass, a half pour.
It was a good 3 gulps to get that down.
Kris is going to be napping in about 4 minutes.
Nothing to it. It's like cough syrup.
Well,
exactly.
What are you drinking other than that?
So to wash that down, I've got this. I don't know what this is.
It's a Texas Coast IPA. It's a tried and true here. It's one of their better IPAs, I think. I'm having I don't remember it now. It's a hazy IPA. It's a good one. Special Mission or Mission 6, something like that. It's good. Here.
So we got a really cool show today. We brought on an old friend of mine, an old colleague, a Mr. Edward Hayman. Ed Hayman, a lot of you guys, a lot of the viewers know him. I've known Ed for probably about 25 years. When I was just getting started and didn't even know what a bolt or a gasket was, Ed was giving me product training. So he was one of my first mentors in the industry, and we've stayed close throughout the whole career, really. We've worked together in various capacities. And I've used Ed as a consultant many times over the years, so it'll be really neat. I've just reconnected with him over the last couple of days. I wasn't able to find his number. Finally found it. I reached out to a few other people to find it. Connected with him, found him. He's actually living in a place called Warren, Texas, in East Texas, and that's where Ed is with his wife Connie right now. So they seem like they're doing well and they're living life, and it'll be really cool to catch up with Ed and get him on the podcast and talk a little bit about the history. So he's a really entertaining guy. He's got a lot of personality and tremendous experience. So.
Yeah, I've heard you talk a lot about him, and he's pretty famous in the industry, I'd say, in the bolting world.
A lot of people know him, a lot of bolting industries out there. A lot of end users have depended on him over the years to come in and be that bolting expert. And yeah, a lot of credibility there.
Looking forward to talking to him. It'll be a good conversation.
Yeah.
So you want to get into Ed now?
Let's do it.
Jump on. Get in.
Do it. All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, we welcome to the podcast Mr. Edward Hayman. Edward Hayman is a veteran in the bolting industry. A lot of you guys know him, and we are honored to have him today. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I've recently been reconnected with you, Ed. I think we've known each other. I was thinking about the amount of years. I think it's been about 25 years since I first met you. And I think even in that time, you'd probably been involved in the bolting industry for probably 20 years prior to that. I don't know. When did you get started, and how did you get started, Ed?
Well, when I was 10, not really. But I was an operator at a chemical plant for 7.5 years, and to split that time up, 3.5 in operations, and basically 4 in maintenance. So I was doing a lot of maintenance, a lot of in the chemical plant, and a lot of bolt up and a lot of tear up and that type of stuff. So a lot of demolition.
What chemical plant was it, Ed?
It no longer is working. We manufacture tetraethyl lead, which is lead for gasoline. So that'll tell you.
Okay.
They shut the plant down in about 84, and I think I was ushered out the door in about the end of 82. And then my wife got tired of me hanging around the house and drawing unemployment and trying to find a job, so she found me a job. And it was working for a little torque-up company out of Baton Rouge. And they were so honest. They had advertised for a supervisor. So I went there and I got the job as a supervisor. Found out there were 4 other guys from Ethel Corporation working there. And but we didn't have any hands. All we had was supervisors. So I couldn't ever figure that one out. So we'd go down to the local mission.
It's still that way, I think.
Yeah, I'd go down to the local mission and pick up a pickup truck load of hands and hand out razors on the way to the plant so they could shave themselves. Because the only thing plants really cared about back then was OSHA regulation on beards. The rest of it, they didn't really care
on
about.
Facial hair. That's the most important thing, right?
To make sure the respirator would seal, right?
That's right, just in case they had to really get out of there in a hurry. But yeah, we did a lot of that.
That's awesome. So
that was 85, the January of 85 that I officially started bolting.
okay.
And I guess officially dealing bolt up shoes in 2013 or 14. But kind of kept
So here's an interesting question, Ed. So how would you describe how the bolting industry has changed in all that time since then? Because you probably didn't have a lot of hydraulic tensioning and a lot of the technology and load indicating studs and all the kind of cool stuff you have today.
Right. We had the torque wrenches generally came in 3 pieces. You had to assemble them on the job site. The other wrenches were big and bulky and slow. The pumps were really slow. And about the only thing you had was a stress tail had a stress mic, and Raymond Engineering had a bolt gauge. And those were the only things you could measure. Ultrasonic, you could measure bolt elongation. Otherwise, you had to have a set of mics and mic it manually. And that was about it. That was had hydraulic step tensioners, but most of them we considered to be little hand grenades, because if you got them a little bit too much overpressure, they'd blow up. And we've sent a few rockets up through the pipe. But the biggest thing, Kris, was just that. Your guy would be at a halfway house, just got out of prison, and that's where you'd pick him up at, take him to work, and
Hey, Bryce takes offense to that.
Yeah.
That's where I found him.
Exactly. I don't take offense to it. I appreciate people like you that came and picked people like us up. If it wasn't for you, Ed, I wouldn't have a job.
Hey, man, look, the first job I ever went on, there was a little fellow there by the name of, I'm not going to tell you his name, but anyway, he was a little bitty fellow.
Yeah. What's his nickname? Green Bean? Nitro?
No, we just called him Clark. And, yeah, he's squeaky voice. And then, Ed acted me real bad when the kids, he was all scarred up and everything. Best working hand you ever found in your life. But don't leave him alone 10 minutes and tell him he's not working because he's going to be drunk in 10 minutes. And I've had him on my job a couple of times in the middle of the night and had to stand on his head to keep him from coming out of a hole and because he was drunk. And I didn't want him in front of the plant guy because several times. But that old boy has bailed me out more times. No, sorry, Bryson, but I didn't want to use the term bailed out in your presence.
It's okay.
But anyway,
It's okay. You're not going to offend me, I promise.
yeah. But anyway, he pulled me out of him more times than you could shake a stick at. But yet, he was. I don't even know what's going on with that guy these days. But that's the way we worked back in those days, and that's why I've spent a lot of time.
He's probably
He's probably a plant manager now.
still turning wrenches.
I hope he's doing something like that rather than back in the pen, So, but yeah, these guys were.
So Ed, you've
these
come
guys
a long way, man.
Yeah,
So Ed, in the last, I'd say, 10 or 12 years or so, you've served on ASME PCC1 committee as well. So you've seen a lot of that transition happen over the years, from coming from a plant all the way to what you'd consider best practices these days, right?
right. We spent a lot of time to get better there. So burger flippers would be able to get some training, minimum training before they got on job sites. And nowadays I got grandkids and great grandkids coming up, and it's kind of important to have something out there for them to work with.
Sure.
Yes.
But one of the biggest things I think we were able to accomplish, which was able to reduce the incidence of fires, explosions, and to reduce the fugitive emissions and flame leakage over the years.
Yeah.
You just don't hear about it a lot like we used to.
Yeah.
We would actually have to go out and tighten the flanges up while they were on fire. And, that was kind of a common thing, Well, they go on up there and, but it's blowing blue flame out 6 feet each side of it. Well, don't worry about that. When you tighten it up, it'll quit.
Did you really do that, Ed? Like, that was really something that you had to go do?
We, one in New Orleans I had to, and what I did was I made them bring pressure to and put a heating lance on it until the flames went out and the flames cooled down enough for me to tighten it up. And then I went up and tightened it up and went home and actually went to another job site, and when they pressured back up, the thing opened up again. So it was, it was a cat cracker, and the catalyst company had bolted it up, and it was kind of one of the things that inspired me to do better, is because they did everything wrong, and then we were called in to correct the mistake, risk our life, but I had a guy come out and tell me that morning, better get up there and tighten that thing. We just go up there with a hammer wrench. I said, well, where's your hammer wrench? I'll give you a hammer. You got a hammer wrench, But that's what life was back in those days. You never knew what they were going to do.
When was the last time you were in a plant, Ed?
Last time I can't remember what the time frame was, but
Just
I was
like
asked
10 years ago?
No, probably. Wait a minute. Probably 2008, maybe.
Okay.
I had to. I had a customer ask me. He had what's called a super nut. These super nuts were installed on 3 reactors, and he asked me to come out and personally supervise the job as we took it apart and put it back together. And that's the last time I was on a job site. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe there's something past that. We did some SAP stores for out and supervise that job. So yeah, those are kind of the last ones I did. Started losing my eyesight 2008, and or no, really started losing my eyesight about 2007, and or 6, and then. Kris, you know that. You drove me around a couple times, because I couldn't see.
That was your show.
Kris with your eyes.
Yeah. And so in 2000.
They say when you lose one of your senses, your other sensors make up for it, right? So maybe your hearing improved, Ed. I wonder.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Exactly. I think he was just ignoring me all those times, though.
No, but so 2009, September 2009 was when I basically had to retire. Couldn't keep up with the workload anymore. So 2013 is whenever I resigned from the SME PCC1 committee. So.
But you did all the hard work by then, though, right? Ed?
Well, one thing I'm proud of, Kris, is there's the guys that used to work for us. He used to support 160 technicians in the field. I was their go-to guy, and we sent all those guys through training. And there's guys all over the United States. I've trained some in Canada, and those guys are all over the world today doing excellent work. And it's kind of a thing for me. I really feel good about the fact that people call them now; they don't call me. So that's a good thing.
That's good.
You've left an impression, Ed.
Well, I hope so. I always like to kind of leave things better than I found them. No exception to that. And what I did, I come through.
I was actually going to bring that up. I was like, what happened here? Why didn't you get to leave him any of your knowledge?
Yeah. Well, we were always laughing too hard for us.
I've been speaking to my wife. That's going to be edited.
I don't know. My sister, I don't like to say this too much, but she's up at her legal limit. She can't marry anymore. State of Louisiana.
She's done.
Kind of backing off of that. You might edit that out too.
I will.
But
hey Ed, so we do a thing every day, every week on the podcast. We do a parts of the week. So we bring on just some cool parts that we show off. Similar to this, and we always bring a small part and a big part. What's the biggest nut that you've ever seen in your career?
BASF had something down there that was like 7 inches and something, or maybe 8.
Holy cow!
It's been a long time. Yeah, and nut is about the biggest I actually worked on.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, not 4 1/8, 6 1/8 is the biggest.
Wow, that's a big nut.
I bet you still remember how many foot-pounds of torque went on that too, Ed.
You know what the crazy thing was is it was back in the day when they didn't really care what they torqued to. They just needed us to break them loose.
Yeah.
4 inch studs, 4 foot long. And
Crazy.
We broke equipment left and right, and then they ended up having to get people in there to arc gouge them to get them out. So it's just crazy. These days they don't do this stuff.
I bet you got 1,000 crazy stories, Ed. What is your favorite one to tell about your whole career? I bet you got some funny ones.
Where'd you guys go? I left.
Oh, we might have paused there for a second.
Okay, yeah. Thinking about that, Kris, it's a lot of them, but probably the craziest thing I ever worked on was a ketchup emulsifier, a tomato emulsifier, and it had blades on it. I don't got any blades on it, something like 30, 40 blades on it, and you had to. It was on a drum, so you had to torque these things without a reaction point, and break them loose and all that. Which made it even more fun was it was at a petroleum a motor oil factory, and they used this thing. They kept it about 350 degrees, and they actually didn't emulsify tomatoes with it. They emulsified paraffin. And then they would cool it down to about 150 degrees, and you had to get up there on this little platform. And if you've never tried to stand on hot wax before, you'll try it. They would throw stuff up there for us, and it didn't matter what it was. It would be slipping and sliding, and then you had to put with this 150-degree drum and torque it in the most unconventional ways. And then the thing bad was they just about every 3 weeks. So, mate, I'm at least 4 trips out there doing this, and after that, I trained somebody else to do that job. But I don't know if you've ever tried some hot wax, but I'm telling you what, it was.
That's every Friday night for Kris.
No, not yet. I mean, but I can tell my time's coming, Ed. I know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, that was probably the craziest. I've done some other stuff, and these some compressor decks where there wasn't enough room for the tooling, so the hydraulic ram was hitting me in the face every time it extended. And I asked the guys to, hey, why don't you remove that deck above me? It's only got 4 screws in it. Just get it that way. I don't know. We're not ready to do it yet. Just stay under there and get done. That was the attitude back in the day. They don't do that anymore. I mean, seriously. I mean, you don't go in plants and do the kind of stuff that we were asked to do. And part of it is because we finally got tired of doing it and just flat told them we just weren't going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it was just, a new breed of guys came in, and they actually believed in safety to some degree,
Yeah. It's a big part of it.
But, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, one of the things I do remember is going to, where'd we go to? Nova Scotia? St. John's? What was it?
It was Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Yeah. North Atlantic
and,
refining up there, yeah.
And Bryce, I didn't do this, but Kris and the rest of the crew did. Every time they go in these pubs up there, they have these traditions. You had one of them, what was it? You drink the shot and then you kiss the fish, or you kiss the fish and then drink the shot.
Yeah, I think don't you kiss the fish and then drink the shot?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well,
Ed confused me for the fish.
Well, I wasn't going to do this, but the other one was, we went in this little restaurant or bar, whatever it was. I can't remember which one it was. And they had this ceramic puffin at the door.
Okay.
And they wanted you to kiss that puffin's butt to get in the door. You remember that, Kris?
I think I'd had too much to drink by that point, Ed.
Kris probably kissed it a couple times.
I can do this much. I don't know how many thousands of people kissed it ahead of him, but I think I'd have cleaned that thing a little bit before I did it.
They do things different up in Canada, Ed, that's for sure.
Oh, man. And what's the deal with Pepsi? They all drink Pepsi up there. None of them drink Coca-Cola.
Is it?
I don't know that.
I didn't get anywhere near the soda fountain. We were taking care of the beer.
Yeah, well, I had to drink water that trip because I can't drink Pepsi. So,
Hey, Ed, well, we sincerely appreciate you appearing on the show. We just thought we would catch up with you a few minutes. I was just recently connected with you here recently, and I thought it'd be a really cool idea to bring you on. So I really appreciate you agreeing to this.
all righty. Well, thanks a bunch, Kris. It's been good talking to you again. Nice meeting you. Is it Bryson
Yeah,
or
good
Bryce?
meeting you. Bryce, Bryce, Bryce.
Bryce. Okay. And what was your PIN number?
Pin number is 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it complicated. Man, it was good meeting you, man. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today.
All righty. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Talk
Cheers.
to you soon, brother. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, so excellent interview with Ed.
Yep.
I told you he was a phenomenal guy. He's got a lot of experience. Hopefully, we can have him back. I think
Yeah,
he's
sure.
He's a great guest, and his career's not over. There's still people that call him and depend on him, and he's still got a heart for the bolting industry. And I think as long as he's kicking, he'll be a part of it. So great to see Ed again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate him joining us. So
right.
hop into parts.
Let's do parts of the week.
week.
You've got quite the spread over there, Bryce.
You know, I kind of wanted to get some standard stuff, but not so standard stuff. Some things that are different, some things are not so different. So, where do you want to start, big boy?
Let's go with
Large or
that little
small?
bad boy that you've
In my
got
hand?
here. No, oh yeah, okay, so that's a set. Okay, yeah,
Oh yes, lock washer. Kind of cool.
yeah,
But the thing that makes this cool is the fact that it is CAD plated.
yeah.
So it's a 2.5.
But a lot of people don't realize this, but you think a lot of this is formed. We can actually machine these, and then we can shape it in a press to where we can actually make a lock washer. So you've seen these, I think, on smaller diameters. Probably don't realize that people will use them on larger diameter bolting, but we'll get demand for this quite a bit, where we will machine this, form it in the press, form the lock washer portion, and provide it that way. So.
Yeah.
You're not going to find one like this on the shelf. Generally, somebody is making it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a big boy,
Yeah.
right?
So what goes with this, Bryce?
This monstrosity of a hex bolt.
That's
So again,
a beautiful part.
2.5, 4.5 thread pitch by 5.5 long. Hello. So a lot of halves there, but just a cool clear CAD. It's a forged bolt, heavy hex bolt, A449. So just a cool part. It's fairly standard. I mean, it's a forged part. We plated this. We sent it out to get plated. We coordinated that whole thing. So, a somewhat commodity. A lot of people are manufacturing these parts. But just the clear CAD makes it a little special.
Is that the UNC pitch, standard pitch?
Yeah.
For that
4.5.
size? Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
It's a course pitch.
Okay. Great part.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It caught my eye when I was walking out there. I was like, man, that is a good looking part.
Yeah, especially when you put that CAD plating on it. It's
For
nice.
sure. Which one? This one. How about it?
I love that. Beautiful.
So this is shipping out today. I did not get the specifics on this, the
It's
dimensions.
17.4 though, right?
It is 17.4. I know that. 17.4 H1100
Shoulder bolt.
shoulder bolt. So, obviously start from round bar, mill, turn the body, then you have the big shoulder, and then you come down to the thread. So I'm looking at that. I'm going to guess that's 1/2 inch, 13? What do you
No,
think?
I think it's bigger.
You think it's 5/8, huh?
I think that's 5/8, yeah. 5/8, 11, I bet. Yeah. Standard.
We'll figure it out, and we'll throw it up on the screen here.
Sure.
But, another cool part. So machine from round bar, sent out to get heat treated. Actually, I think we sent out to get heat treated first and then brought it in and machined it.
But 17.4, it's a beautiful finish. I don't know if you can see that, if you can see it in person, but excellent finish.
'Cause it
really
usually
high
comes-
quality machine work.
It usually comes in a little blue from the heat treater, a little
Yeah.
purplish, bluish tint, and then machined.
Yeah.
So good looking part.
You can see where the live center was where we machined it.
Yep, absolutely.
Beautiful part. I like it. 17.4.
So that was an extra part. So they're going to stamp it and everything. These are shipping out this afternoon. This is a part. This is a cool part. This is, taking us a little bit of time, but there's a lot of precision that goes into this. So this is a A286 660B
hex bolt, hex cap screw, fine thread. We actually did this on the roll threader. So the thread roll or roll thread threads. It was a UNJ,
Okay. Yeah.
and then we have the safety wire holes drilled into it. So after we machined it, we sent it out to get LP. So had an additional, non-destructive test, make sure there's no cracks in the material. So this part I think is shipping out today as well.
Okay. And that's fine thread.
Fine thread, yeah. UNJ. It's a 3/8 fit. I mean, all roll thread.
Beautiful part.
Yep.
Another item you are not going to find on the shelf.
Over 700 of these we made. I think it was 720 was the total count.
Good order.
Yep, very good order.
Yeah.
Next,
The last part you've got there.
this is something I know we've talked about it before. I don't think we've ever showed one of these off, have we?
don't
Or at
think
least
so.
a special.
No.
So this was a 304H special dimension ring joint here.
Octagonal.
Octagonal ring joint. It's about I think it's a 22-inch OD. So again, very special.
We machined this.
We
in-house.
machined this in-house. It got chucked up on one of our lathes, and we machined. There was 3 pieces that we machined, turned it around in less than a week. Brought in casting, and then machined it on down.
Good work, Bryce.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Very cool part. So just shows you the capabilities that we have. If you need help with coordinating, any aftermarket coatings. Obviously with the 17.4, we got the aftermarket heat treat, bringing in bar, machining, heat treating. The 660, kind of the same thing with this. I mean, I think people make bolting out of 660 material all the time, but the fact that this is a special thread, you got the wire hole, you send it out after all machining and threading, you send it out to get LP tested. So just a lot of different steps that go into this small part. And then just a standard, ring joint. Obviously this is one is a standard, but bringing in material and machining a ring joint on our machines and doing it quick. So a lot of cool capabilities.
Outstanding.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's the show for today. What else is going on? You got anything this weekend? Next week? What's coming up?
Nothing this weekend. I think it's going to be a lazy weekend. I think it's supposed to continue raining.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All weekend?
Yeah.
That
We're just
sucks.
getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think we've got decorations going up this weekend.
We were talking about this earlier. I think it's ridiculous that they decorate for Christmas.
I would bet a lot
Before
of people
Thanksgiving.
out there are doing that.
Okay. It doesn't mean it's right.
Because I think a lot of people just go all out when they decorate for Christmas. And if you were to do it after Thanksgiving, it's a lot of work just to enjoy
For a
for
month.
a few weeks.
For a month.
Then you got to take it right back down, put it in storage. I think people have just over time, once you do that for several years, say, look, I'm going to get the maximum amount of enjoyment out of this.
Where does it stop? I mean, you're going to have it up year round next.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I know some people that they leave their lights up.
That's just lazy.
Yeah.
It's just pure laziness. Get out there and take it down and put it up. I mean, really.
You pay somebody to put them
I
up.
don't. I'm out there walking around a tree in circles. That is me. I promise. Dude, I don't even have someone mow my yard. My son mows my yard.
I'm going to go with the lazy category.
You
Yeah,
would.
I don't want to do
You
that.
would.
Yeah.
That's why you're sitting down.
Yeah. I don't have time for that.
You have plenty of time.
I don't.
You're going to go home and drink a bottle of wine tonight.
That's why I don't have time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anything with you?
Nothing. Just normal.
Okay.
Normal, kid stuff, family
Okay.
stuff.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy. I think the rest of the year is pretty calm. Obviously, the shop is keeping us busy. We've had a pretty good week this week.
Yeah.
So we did a Veterans Day golf outing yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, we had, it was a benefit for Foals of Honor, which
Yeah.
is a great little nonprofit that they promote a lot of scholarships for veterans' kids. They do a lot of good things. So they issue several hundred of those a year, and they've got chapters all over the U.S. I can't remember the exact chapter we were in, but this was
It's run by the Rotary, wasn't it?
it was part of the Rotary, so
Yeah.
they teamed up and then brought in Foals of Honor. But it was out at Black Horse, was the tournament yesterday.
In Cyprus. We donated a lot of money,
They had a live auction. They raised a lot of money.
which our table took home 2 of the live auctions.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah. The Patriot Bolt team, we got second place.
it? Second place.
Yeah.
We were rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah, we did.
We were
did
throwing
well.
darts.
I didn't do well.
You did okay.
You did good.
I was playing okay.
Yeah, your game was good.
Yeah. I haven't played in a long time.
We
You
had-
work me too hard. You need to let me golf more.
One of the people on our team was another veteran of the industry, Mr. Bill Grossi.
Bill Grossi.
So he worked with me in a previous life, and he was at that company for about 45 years. So he's just retired several years ago, but he is still doing well, and he's a good golfer. He was a good
Bill's not too shabby.
third wheel to have on there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So there we have it. That's episode number 31.
Very good.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, as always,
All right, we'll get this edited and published and posted up.
comment,
Like
share.
the podcast.
Heck yeah.
You
All
can
right.
catch us on YouTube and
Spotify and LinkedIn.
Spotify.
Yeah.
I looked earlier, and Paul had a lot of episodes up
Did he
there.
really?
think
I haven't looked all week.
10 or so episodes as of this morning.
We're coming for you, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
We're coming for
he's
you.
working on it. He's doing all kinds of stuff like
Splitting it up and
like putting in like comments and like segments and then cataloging it in the where you, if you want to go to a certain spot, you can actually click to that spot. What do you call it? Just a shortcut, a link that'll go to that spot immediately. So he's really going all out. I don't know if it's worth the effort that we have for all 6 of our viewers to do
I think
that,
we're up to
but-
7 now.
Okay, 7?
Yeah.
So maybe it is. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
Cheers.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thanks for joining.
Have a good one, man.
Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes.